I will explain about the table specification regarding the research that will be discussed. The field that we discuss is Complete International Investment Risk Indicator, which in theory can be classified into three broad lines, namely political risk, financial risk, and economic risk. In this research, our group will specify and use the data such as balance of payment, including current account balance, economic policy and debt, including debt service to export, foreign direct investment in net flows, GDP growth, multilateral debt services, and total debt services, and financial sectors in a real interest rate, risk premium on lending, hard money growth, and poverty rate. And the last one is public sector, including central government debt and net incurrence of liabilities. To get an analysis of the data results, at the first we look to raw secondary data from World Development Indicators, then analyze it using the weighted average method, and in the final stage we analyze it with a quantitative descriptive analysis. The experimental features that we use in International Investment Risk Indicators data were extracted from the World Development Database. The complete International Investment Risk Indicator were derived by current account balance, central government and multilateral debt, foreign direct investment or FDI, GDP growth, real interest rate, risk premium on lending, hard money growth, poverty headcount ratio at national poverty. The data is taken in the World Development Indicator from 2001 and until 2019. This data was then analyzed with the bandpass filtering method, also weighted average, to produce descriptive analysis about the filtered data above. Data was retrieved by the World Development Indicator on World Bank that retrieved on June 2021.
International investment is an investment strategy that encourages investors to expand the diversity of investment instruments and accelerate economic performance. International investment allows investors to gain from the strong performance of the foreign country. Although investing can be rewarding, this activity always exposed to risk, either economic or political risk. Data on this indicator were obtained from several economic data such as balance of payment, economic policy and debt, financial sector and public sector. Data were collected from 127 countries to examine the indicator of risk in different national income. This study aimed to identify the indicator that contribute to the international investment risk, focus on high and low investment risk. The investment risk indicator was derived by using weighted average method that shows a substantial influence on the driving factor of international investment in those countries due to different investment risks in certain countries.
Hello, my name is Nurul Huda bint Arifin. My matric number is S51316. In this study, we are analyzing about the international investment risk for 127 countries such as Malaysia, Indonesia, Brazil, and so on. The objective of these studies is to identify indicator international risk, and secondly, to identify the different countries in lower income, upper middle income, lower middle income, and high income. They have 12 indicators for international risk. This data is taken in the World Development Indicator (WDI) for 2001 until 2019 for 18 years. The investment risk indicator is current account balance, debt service, foreign direct investment, GDP growth, maritime debt service, total debt service, real interest rate, risk premium on lending, broad money growth, poverty headcount ratio, national poverty, and net incurrence liabilities. In these studies is to identify the effect of international investment to income, which is in lower middle income, upper middle income, and high income. The lower in national income will cause a decline in terms of national investment. In this study, we want to see if this assumption is true. So with this research, we want to prove that assumption that when low national increase will cause an increase in international investment. Why this assumption is false? Because national income or GDP is depending on the indicators.
Based on previous studies, this study proposes that the complete international investment risk indicator includes dimensions: economic risk, liquidity risk, national debt, and each dimension includes secondary indicators based on the country: lower income, upper middle income, lower middle income, and high income from 127 countries for the period 2001 to 2019. Based on data, this study extracted indicators from the World Bank's World Development Indicators (WDI). For the dimensions, economic risk include current account balance, interest rate, and GDP growth. For liquidity risk include risk premium on lending, broad money growth, and incurrence of liabilities. And for dimensions, national debt includes central government debt, multilateral debt service, and debt service to export. Based on the results of the data using the weighted average method, the highest country investment risk is El Salvador with a percentage value of 96.8%. This is because El Salvador's liquidity has declined significantly due to protracted negotiations between the government and the opposition on a comprehensive set of fiscal reforms that have weakened debt management, and the country of El Salvador is a one of lower middle income country. However, weak household purchasing power, scarcity of natural resources, limited size of the domestic market, insufficient infrastructure, vulnerable institutions, and above all, high level of criminality are real obstacles to investors. Is there some reason El Salvador is the country with the highest investment risk? The results obtained found that the upper middle income countries are also risky countries in investment, namely Brazil, 93.4%, St. Lucia, 92.1%, and Tonga, 84.7%. This proves that Brazil itself has risks in their economy, for example, as its political instability. The country has a somewhat volatile political history, but St. Lucia's economic dependence on the tourism sector poses a huge risk to the state of St. Lucia, as the country's youth unemployment rate is high and based on income inequality. Tonga is an open, small island economy and is heavily dependent on foreign aid and remittances from abroad. This is due to the disaster that befell the country of Tonga, so that it has a profound impact on investment in the economy. The risk of earthquakes and tropical cyclones comes from estimates of direct losses to buildings, infrastructure assets, and major crops caused by all simulated future events. Score values for high risk range from 61% to 80%. Majority are from low-income countries, which for Burundi, 78.8%, Gambia, 72.4%, Haiti, 69.7%. It's because low income give an effect on foreign investment. These risks arise from the possibility that the industry or economic environment is subject to variation. These include macroeconomic variables such as inflation, real interest rates, and exchange rate fluctuations. And assets exposure to the business cycle, for example shifts in demand, is a principal business risk of the asset. Finance risks, such as debt maturity, are also a major part of business risk. Countries upper middle income and countries lower middle income, in contrast to low middle income and upper middle income countries, which have dominated the medium risk countries of between 41% to 60%. For example, Colombia, 51.5%, is one of country medium risk and international investment, and is a country upper middle income. It's because Colombia's consistently sound economic policies and aggressive promotion of free trade agreements in recent years have bolstered its ability to weather external shocks. For country lower middle income, Egypt, 47.9%, is a one of medium risk country because of the dynamic growth of the Egyptian economy, around 7% before the crisis, its strategic geographical position, low labor costs, skilled workforce, unique tourist potential, substantial energy reserves. large domestic market and the success of the reforms undertaken by the authorities, including many privatizations, contributed to drive up FDIs. Most countries low income, lower middle income, upper middle income and high income under low risk rating 21 to 40%. For example, low income country is Niger, 23.5%. Niger are the topographical drawbacks and the poor state of infrastructure, but because of the mining sector, in particular uranium, has traditionally taken the lion's share of foreign direct investment in Niger. For lower middle income country is India, 25.3%. India is a low middle income country, but India is a country with low risk to international investment. It's because of India's diverse economy encompasses traditional village farming, modern agriculture, handicrafts, and a wide range of modern industries. Capitalizing on its large and well-educated English-speaking population, India has become a major exporter of information technology services, business outsourcing services, and software workers. For upper middle income countries, Indonesia, 24.8%. Indonesia have grown and their base has been expanding thanks to resilient economic growth, low government debt, and prudent fiscal management. Investment in Indonesia mainly in electricity, gas and water, transportation and telecommunication. For high-income countries, New Zealand, 23%. New Zealand was ranked first out of 190 countries in the 2020 Doing Business report published by the World Bank, the same spot as in 2018 and 2019. The country's economy is dependent on foreign investment. New Zealand has open and business-friendly economy, low levels of corruption, good protection of property rights, high living standards, political stability and advantageous tax policy. Majority higher income countries for international investment risk in categories country very low risk 0 to 20%. For example is Bahamas 16.5%, Bahrain 13.8%, Chile 13.1%, Canada 11.8%, and Australia 6.3%. Australia is the lowest higher income country compared to other countries. Australia is very rich in minerals. In this respect, the country not only meets successfully its internal needs, but it also covers the needs of many other countries around the world. Gold, aluminium, iron ore, nickel, silver, diamonds, opal, oil, natural gas and whatnot, all these resources and many others are found in really huge amounts here. Australia is also among the largest producers and exporters of food in the world. And the food industry is almost entirely based on local products. In different parts of Australia are grown fruits and vegetables that are typical for different climate zones around the world. Grain and industrial crops cover enormous territories of the continent. Based on the results of the data obtained has proved that the data for countries at risk of investment does not depend on national income, but it depends on indicators in the development of a country.
A very good day to lecturer and my dear friends. My name is Sridharan, son of Murugesan, matrix number S51246. And I'm here going to present about experimental design. In experimental design, there got 6 stages. The first is define objective. The second is planning and designing. The third is experimentation procedure. The fourth is analyzing and modeling. The fifth is interpretation of data, and finally conclusions. Experimental design is a process of carrying out research in an objective and controlled fashion. The purpose of doing this experimental design is to establish the effect that a factor or independent variable has on a dependent variable. Principle of experimental design is to not follow the strict tenets of hypothesis, testings, and article holds the relevant information for this type of research. Planning research is to the test and validate the relationship between and among experimental variables. Accurate and precise empirical measurement increases a researcher's ability to determine the causal relationship and state casual conclusion. Topics that germane to experimental design are hypothesis statement, experimental control, dependent variables, selection, and assignment of samples of participants to condition, collecting data and selecting validate statistical tests.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Shakira Binti Saidi S50386, and today I will do a presentation about material and method. So to study the country international investment risk, we need indicator as a measure. In this study, we use 12 indicators. All data and method used in this study were taken from World Development Indicators from 2001 to 2019. There are countries that do not have complete data. So in this study, we use only 127 countries as observations. Okay, now I will explain what step or method used to calculate the international risk. Okay, step 1, we start the search for the indicator data in percentage term GDP percent for 18 years, that 2001 to 2019. Step 2, after all indicator data obtained, each percentage of the indicator will be added by all the years and divided by number of years observed to obtain the average number of indicator. Step 3, repeat the process so that the value obtained by all indicators are in the same unit. And step 4, arrange the result by ranking and analyze the data. Okay, for a better understanding, we use the example shown in the table, which the calculation obtained in the international risk for the country Albania. From this table, indicator are used in the percentage of GDP. After all indicator add and divide by the number of years, Albania obtained the total average of each indicators. The total average will be added to get the international investment risk and used to compare the other countries. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Balkis binti Syed Bakar and I'm going to conclude the research study. Investment risk is the probability or unpredictable of loss related to the expected profit return on investment. In a short, it measures the degree of uncertainty in achieving a return in investment expectation. Every investment has different risk and return. Thus, the risk may also result in the loss of some or all the amount of investment. Therefore, risk measurement is important in assessing investment prospect. For example, the higher the risk, the more profitable the investment, and the lower the risk, the lower the profit. The impact of risk on international investment study in the past has found disappointing result on the influence of risk on international investment. Therefore, the study we conduct was different because it had used much larger and more complete data. Our data sample consists of 127 countries for the period of 2001 to 2019. After that, the indicator we used were comprehensive to fulfill identify risks that could indirectly affect to the category of international investment between countries. Our study found that the indicator we select play an important role in contributing to the factor influencing international investment in the country. This because each country has different investment risks that need considering in national risk assessment. According to the weighted average method, the study results show that El Salvador is a lower middle income country with the highest investment risk, followed by an upper middle income country such as Brazil, St. Lucia and Togo. Next, high income country fall between the low risk category for international investment risk. These include the Bahamas, Bahrain, Chile, Canada and Australia is being the highest income country in comparison. Finally, we are confident that the results of this study are relevant and have reasonable level of validity. The proof is that we use a larger sample size and enough annual data to obtain accurate value. The data collected are from legit source, and we also use calculation and periodic table to get perfect result and made it easier to read.